Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Lamont. I'm the author of Personal Finance for Beginners, Volumes 1 and 2. Quick disclaimer before I get started on the topic. This is really aimed at personal finance topics that are not so heavy. If you do have serious problems, you should speak with one of the experts listed on this particular page. And also, please take note of the disclaimer at the bottom of the page. But what I'm going to be talking about today is Frank. And Frank is an average guy. He makes $50,000 per year, is not married, no mortgage, or no big debts. Takes public transport to work, and he spends less than $10 per day on lunch. And that may seem, like a lot of people out there, younger people out in the world who are just getting started. And this is their kind of a typical picture of how things work out. But Frank is a little bit different than many people in that he's got some big issues here. First of all, he says he doesn't have enough money to live on, and indeed, not long ago, a couple years back, he was evicted from the apartment that he was living in and had to find some alternate living arrangements. Fortunately, that worked out. But now he's trying to figure out, well, how can I really tackle some of the expenses that were causing these problems? And actually, I think what Frank should do, and this is what I outlined in the book, he should look at the expenses that he has. And one of them is lunch. And let's take a look at that very simple phrase I said earlier, spends less than $10 per day on lunch. And let's see how that works out when you apply it to the entire year, not just every day. So let's say that his average lunchtime meal costs $7.50 per day. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but it averages out to $7.50 because he's usually going to the cafeteria or maybe to the fast food restaurant around the corner. And sometimes he also gets like a Starbucks coffee or something else when he's on the way to work. So that averages out to $7.50 per day. If you do the multiplication, every week, 5 weekdays, $37.50. If you multiply that by 4 weeks in a month, you get to about $150 per month. And then every year, the annual cost is actually $1,650 per year. I said 11 months, not 12 months, because of course he has vacation and he doesn't work on holidays and maybe a couple days every year he's sick. But he's basically spending $1,650 per year just on lunch. And that really starts to add up. I mean, as you can imagine, that could be several months of rent right there. And although I'm not advocating that people should totally cut out their lunchtime costs and starve themselves, there's some things that he could do to really cut that number down. And let's take a look at one scenario. So let's say that instead of spending an average of $7.50 per day, it dropped down to $4 per day. And how would that work out? So every week, $20 instead of $37.50. Every month, about $80 instead of $150. And then every year, the annual cost is $880, and that's a lot more reasonable. And actually, that's a savings of $770 per year compared to what he was doing before. And you may be thinking, well, okay, that sounds easy enough. Just change a number and everything changes. How do I practically get that done? And there's a lot of things you can do. These are some things that myself or my spouse do a lot of the time to reduce costs. First of all, limit the trips to the cafeteria or fast food restaurants. So instead of going 4 or 5 times per week, just go once or twice per week. Limit those stopping at the donut shop or the coffee shop. Switch to brown bagging it or leftovers. And the cost, there is a cost to that, of course, if you're buying sandwich bread and deli stuff or maybe some snacks to go along with that. But it's a lot less than going out to a cafeteria. And then also, bring your own water in a refillable bottle, or even brew your own tea or coffee instead of buying it outside. And those things can really start to add up and reduce your overall average cost. And at the end of the day, what this really gets at is that these small decisions you make about spending every day, they can really have a big outcome if you look at it over time. So costs that don't really seem that big can add up over time. But even making a few minor adjustments can save lots of money, and that will give you more money to spend on the things that matter. For more information on personal finance, I've written a couple books about this. Volume 1 covers how to cut expenses, which we've just been talking about. Volume 2 is more about retirement and other longer-term issues. These are both available from in30minutes.com. My name is Ian Lamont. I'm the author, and I'm the publisher of In 30 Minutes Guides. Thank you so much for watching.